Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land, Facebook land, social media land, wherever you might be watching this. Welcome to another episode of Musings with MGL. Today, I'm going to take a step away from the thing that shall not be named, like I do from time to time, and I'm going to talk about firearms again, okay? There's a bunch of things going around Facebook and a bunch of different sites about something that just happened in Nevada regarding AR-15's and their classification as machine guns. And there's been a lot of misinformation out there about what it means, what the ruling is. So I just kind of wanted to run through it a little bit and give you my take on what it means. So here you have the headline. Okay, this is from the Truth About Guns, which is a great website. Court ruling: AR-15's are now machine guns in Nevada, apparently. Okay, so that's a headline. You'll see a lot of these headlines like this floating around Facebook or Twitter or anywhere else as it relates to this one issue, and it's basically claiming that all of a sudden now AR-15's are machine guns. But you got to go dig a little bit deeper, and you got to read the article to figure out exactly what's going on here. So a little bit of a background check. What happened was, we all remember the shooting at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. Remember the Las Vegas shooter that somehow quickly disappeared from the media. People stopped covering it real quick, which is still something that's never really been explained why they did that. But you had that shooter at the Mandalay Bay that happened in Las Vegas, okay? Some people out there, some family members of some of the people who died in that horrible act of violence perpetrated by that crazy man, have sued the gun manufacturers for wrongful death, okay? Well, as we all know, most people should know, there's actually a federal statute that says that you can't sue gun makers if somebody illegally uses a firearm in a crime. You can't. There's no strict liability. You can't just say because the guy bought an AR-15 and killed somebody with it, now I get to sue the manufacturer of the AR-15. That's not how it works. There's actually a federal law that prevents that. But they've been getting around it lately, and the way that they're trying to get around it is under wrongful death actions based on false advertising, essentially, okay? You've got a few of these different lawsuits floating around the country now, and basically what they're arguing in these lawsuits is we're not suing the manufacturer for strict liability just because they make the gun. What they're suing the manufacturers for is false advertising or false marketing of their guns and what they can be used for. So, for example, they want to argue that when you marketed your AR-15, you intentionally marketed it towards vulnerable people, towards violence-loving people, towards young people, towards people with mental health disorders. So you marketed it to those people, and that should have tipped you off that those people were going to cause damage to other people with the firearm. It's similar to what they did with the cigarette companies back during, the Joe Camel. Remember when Joe Camel, Marlboro had a camel that would sit around and smoke cigarettes, and they didn't go after him necessarily for making the cigarettes. They did in other lawsuits, but the Joe Camel lawsuit was specifically about the marketing. They accused the cigarette company of using a cartoon camel because they were marketing it directly to children who they knew would get more addicted, who aren't smart enough to read the warning labels on the packages, that are just gonna think it's cool to smoke because the cool camel with the jacket is smoking. So they didn't go after them necessarily for making a cigarette. They went after them for their marketing tactics and going after a vulnerable population. So some of these lawsuits are going after the companies not for strict liability for making the firearm, but for their false advertising or their advertising tactics and selling them to vulnerable groups, therefore knowing that it was going to cause these issues. So that's where a lot of these lawsuits are coming from, and that's how they're trying to get around the federal law that says you can't sue people. The one out here in Nevada, if you read through the paperwork, basically the guy talks about how he's kind of predicted this. The twist on the Nevada one is related to the bump stocks, okay? We all remember the bump stocks. Most of us that know how to shoot think they're stupid and useless and nobody would ever buy one, but they were a popular item that people bought because it would allow them to fire at a more rapid rate. It would still keep your firearm or your rifle as semi-automatic, but it would allow you to fire at such a high rate of speed that it would almost be automatic. And of course, the guy in the Mandalay Bay shooting out in Vegas used a bump stock. That's where they first became famous. Everybody who wasn't in the gun community found out about them. They became a rallying cry of things that needed to be banned. And eventually, after several years of political pressure, the ATF and the White House went ahead and banned them, okay? So here's where the bump stock becomes important in Nevada, okay? And I'm going to read what the judge's ruling is here because they get an excerpt here. And this is the commentary. So, and then the family of a victim of the Mandalay Bay shooting made that very argument in Nevada State Court, seeking to sue several firearm manufacturers with the claim that they had lost protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, which is that statute that says you can't sue them, by unlawfully manufacturing and selling machine guns because AR-15s are so easily converted with bump stocks. So here's the situation, okay? We all know that you can't sell machine guns to the general public, right? So an AR-15 manufacturer is not allowed to sell a fully automatic firearm to the general public. You could sell them obviously to military people, to law enforcement groups, class 3 dealers, I think can get new ones. But to the general public, you can't sell machine guns. That's why they sell AR-15s, because they're not machine guns. But the argument is that any AR-15 can be converted into essentially a machine gun by sticking a bump stock on it. And since every AR-15 that's made is capable of accepting the bump stock as an attachment, then that means that every AR-15 is designed with the intent to possibly be converted into a machine gun simply by attaching a bump stock to it. And so they're arguing, as I said here, they're easily converted with the bump stocks. The defendants in Parsons v. Colt asked a federal district court to dismiss the lawsuit. So the gun manufacturers filed a motion to dismiss. And then on April 10th, the district judge refused to dismiss the plaintiff wrongful death case. The case will now move forward in Nevada state courts. Gordon used a set of lies regarding the design and history of the AR platform to rationalize his finding that the manufacturers somehow knew they were making arms that could easily be converted to machine guns, despite the fact that even the ATF claimed otherwise until they changed their pseudo minds in late 2017. From his ruling, so the PLCCA permits actions in which a manufacturer or seller of a qualified product knowingly violated a state or federal statute applicable to the state or marketing of the product, and the violation was a proximate cause of the harm. The Parsons wrongful death claim is premised on the defendant's violations of 18 U.S.C. blah, 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 which prohibit firearms manufacturers and dealers from selling machine guns. Machine gun is defined as any weapon which shoots, is designed to shoot, or can readily be restored to shoot automatically more than one shot without manual reloading by a single function of the trigger. The term shall also include the frame or receiver of any such weapon, any part designed and intended solely and exclusively or combination of parts designed and intended for use in converting a weapon into a machine gun, and any combination of parts from which a machine gun can be assembled if such parts are in the possession or under control of a person. Nevada's definition of machine gun mirrors the federal definition. The ATF has defined designed to shoot to include those weapons which have not previously functioned as a machine gun but possess design features which facilitate full automatic fire by simple modification or elimination of existing component parts. So there you go. In the eyes of the federal court judge under Nevada law, any semi-auto that can be equipped with a bump stock is already a machine gun. So there's the train of logic. So the logic is the AR-15 is built by the manufacturers knowing that it can be easily converted into a machine gun by slapping the bump stock on it. And since the ATF reversed their decision on bump stocks and defines machine guns as designed to shoot to include those weapons which have not previously functioned as a machine guns but possess design features which facilitate full automatic by simple modification or elimination of existing components. So the judge's thinking is it's a simple modification to slap this bump stock on there, and now all of a sudden you've magically made a machine gun. And when the manufacturers make these things, they know that it has the capability of do that. So it's A plus B equals C. So A, you make the AR-15, that is designed to accept something like a bump stock. B, the ATF says a bump stock is now something that can easily convert. It's a simple modification that can convert something to a fully automatic firearm. Ergo, you're selling an item that you know can be converted into a machine gun. So you are selling actual machine guns. Therefore, their wrongful death suit can go forward because you're not allowed to sell machine guns. It's a huge spin around of logic to get there, but the judge got there, and that's how he did it. So just bringing everybody up to speed on that. It's been making its way around. Now, this isn't the end of it. So people think when judges stop or don't stop a case that they're ruling on its merits. In other words, the way it works is somebody files a lawsuit. The defense always files a motion to dismiss the lawsuit that basically says on its face, you can't sue us. So in this case, all the gun manufacturers filed a lawsuit saying, look, under this federal law, we have immunity. You can't sue us, so dismiss the case. And the judge says, nope, I'm not going to dismiss it. I'm going to let the case go forward, okay? So the judge didn't make a ruling. You got to be careful of headlines out there. Some headlines are, they like to get clickbait or whatever, so they put a big headline in there that says, AR-15's are now machine guns, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to do it on this video because that's the way I'm going to label this video so I can get people to click on it. So I understand why they're doing it, but if you watch the video, then you're going to understand where I'm coming from. So I get that it's a marketing thing, but you got to read past the headline. So this doesn't mean that some court somewhere has ruled that all AR-15s are machine guns. It means that one judge has ruled not that they are machine guns, but that the plaintiff can make an argument that they are machine guns that's good enough to get past a motion to dismiss and push the case further along. It may end up getting dismissed down the road for something else. It may end up going to trial, and they end up losing at trial. There's, maybe they'll settle it or something like they do in a lot of these cases just to make them go away. I don't know. But this isn't the end of the road. So be careful of headlines, including the ones I'll probably put on this banner that say AR-15s are now machine guns. Just make sure you read. There's nothing wrong with that because you got to get people's attention, but just make sure you read the rest of it. But look, there are judges out there that are going to rule this way. About every 6 months or so, we get one of these weird rulings where some judge doesn't stop the case on a motion to dismiss and comes up with some weird logic to do it. So I just want to give everybody an update on that, take a break from the other stuff going on, get back to my roots, which is talking about Second Amendment and gun laws and court cases and stuff. That's what I like to do. So that's just an update on what's going on out there. Make sure you read all the articles, beware of the headlines. But keep an eye on it as I get updates on it. I'll obviously post videos. Truth About Guns is a good website. There's a lot of websites out there that'll keep you up to date on this. So make sure you just keep up to date on it and know what's going on out there. And this is part of the reason why when something happens like a bump stock, people are talking about a bump stock ban. And a lot of people are out there like, oh, just give them a bump stock ban. What's the worst that can happen? Bump stocks, they're stupid. Nobody uses one. Only wannabes use those, so who cares? Let's give them an inch, and then maybe they won't take a mile. But this is what happens. So the people fold on the bump stocks because they figure, oh, it's an easy win. Let's just give them the bump stocks, and they'll leave us alone. And now they take the fact that people gave them the bump stocks, and they're now using it to try and argue that every AR-15 is a machine gun, so now we can sue all these manufacturers and put them out of business. So that's why you can never give an inch with these people. You can't give anything with these people because they're always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. And some smart lawyer out there who hates guns and works for left-leaning companies or whatever, or just wants to make a bunch of money off a big lawsuit, is going to find a way to spin all these little things into their favor. So don't give in on anything. Don't ever think, well, let's just give up bump stocks because they're stupid. What's the worst that can happen? Well, because this is the worst that can happen, because that little issue has now started a snowball downhill that may someday result in a ruling by a court somewhere that we don't like and is going to cause a huge amount of problem. Okay, so fight everything that they want to do. Don't ever give in. Okay, so that's it. Just keep an eye on it. I'll keep you updated on it. If you like what I have to say, as always, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications. Give me a like, give me a dislike, comment, like, share, yada yada yada, all the stuff to help my channel grow. I really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay open if you can, and as always, carry on.